Hey friends, have I told you the story about my uncle? Now, for starters, my uncle is the most unbiased person in the entire world. That was 100% sarcasm. So my uncle is like a deeply religious person. And he went through this religious journey where he researched every religion out there, and to him that means every denomination of Christianity, because why waste your time with Buddhism and Taoism and every other religion out there, including Islam? And so my uncle, he decided that this one denomination that he finally decided on was the one true word of God, and because he did all of this research means that he is no longer biased, because he understands all and understands every truth that there is out there. Yeah, that's not how bias works. To be a devil's advocate, you have to be aware of your own personal bias. This is where my uncle will continuously fail for the rest of his life until he admits that he is biased, because unless you can see your own bias, you can never become a true devil's advocate. See, the problem with my uncle's theory of him doing all the research then making him unbiased is that all of that research, whether he did it or not, thus becomes his bias. And then you're operating from that information. As humans, we only ever operate through the lens that we have, whether that's a mental lens, physical lens, whatever, but mentally we can only ever perceive the world through our own experiences. That's like when I say the word hate. You're going to think about different circumstances and different situations surrounding hate than I would. Same with the word love. Or we can go more superficial and talk about glass, or wood, or milk. Any of those will open up a whole array of word possibilities that can match to our own experiences. And so when we're talking, it's very important to talk about definitions. This is why in season 1, we kept bringing up, make sure you talk to the person you're debating what definitions you're using, because it's so crucial that you understand that you're operating off of the same definitions. Because if you're using the same words, that doesn't mean you're using the same definitions. It just means you're using the same words. From that could be a miscommunication, because I could be debating somebody on a whole abortion debate, right? We could be talking about that. But when I say the word abortion, for some people, they hear the word rights and women's rights, while other people hear murder and death and destruction. So it's very important that you talk about the definitions to even figure out where they're coming from, because the same words don't mean the same things. It is impossible to operate independently of information. Once we learn something, it becomes our reality. For example, if you get cheated on in a relationship, you're no longer going to be able to see that person as the person who didn't cheat on you because they cheated on you, regardless if you are somebody who is capable of forgiving them or not, because that is possible. You can forgive betrayals, but even if you do forgive them and you guys move on and have a happy life still, it doesn't change the fact that that still happened in reality. And so if I learn a fact about something, that is going to influence my reality. Now, with cognitive dissonance, for example, when conservatives learn that a liberal supports, let's say, a socialist program, they may freak out and start calling that person a socialist and using it as a negative term. But when they actually start to learn what the program is, and maybe they're in support of it, but they're like, oh no, I previously called this a socialist program, automatically that previous bias is going to come in, smack it away, and be like, no, I don't care if this program sounds good. I don't care if this program is going to benefit me. It's a socialist program, and they're going to automatically reject it. And so you can see how that previous reality experiences that we have, and I keep hitting the mic, keeps us in this mental prison of reality that we live within, and if we cannot escape it, then our bias is going to control our lives and our perception. And so that's why it's really important to acknowledge your bias. That's the first step of being a devil's advocate. Acknowledge your bias. And once you can do that, once you can see your bias and where you're coming from, then we can move on and try to hopefully start to understand what other people's biases are and what their experiences are, because our experiences are unique to us, but their experiences are unique to them. And so we must understand where they're coming from if we're even going to be able to talk to them and find out what definitions they're using. But that is a more in-depth conversation, and we'll have to continue that next time. Bye, friends.